Just when I thought Major League Baseball could not get any more ridiculous, Commissioner Rob Manfred pulls a Bachman-Turner overdrive and says, "You ain't seen nothing yet." So this proposal that's being floated around, it's called the Golden at Bat. And this would allow a team to send a preferred player to the plate once during a game, even if it wasn't that player's official turn at bat. Basically, like, here's an example. Say the Phillies are trailing the Mets by 2 runs in the 8th inning. They have 2 on, but they've got Lump Beef Broth. He's the next guy up in the lineup. The Phillies can go, no. Lump, you just take a seat. We're going to send Bryce Harper to the plate. It's just another attempt by the people running MLB who think coming up with one major rule change after another is the way to get more people interested in baseball, when all this really is a gimmick. Just like the bigger bases, just like putting the runner on second base in extra innings. But you know what? This is what happens when the people you put in charge of a professional sports league have the collective IQ of a leaky bucket. They don't sit around and they don't brainstorm like, how can we do things to gin up more interest in baseball while still keeping the integrity and traditions of the game intact? And yes, new breed of baseball fan, I'm talking to you. Integrity and traditions are important to baseball because they give the game a foundation. They connect generations of fans and players. They give the game meaning and stability. But that doesn't matter to people like Rob Manfred. Honestly, I never thought I would see a worse commissioner than Bud Selig. The day he left, I was like, oh, man, I'm so glad Bud Selig's out of there. I'll tell you what, the way Rob Manfred's running baseball, I really miss Bud Selig. Anyway, when you have people like Rob Manfred running the game, they just come up with all sorts of changes that the only thing they do is corrupt baseball and turn it into a joke. And this golden at bat is another example. We're just doing it because it sounds cool, and the younger generation will be hip to that. Is it any wonder that you have a bunch of former major leaguers who say they can no longer watch Major League Baseball in its present form? And I don't mean former major leaguers like, I don't know, Wayne Krenshicky or Sam Horn. I'm talking about guys like Hall of Famer Goose Gossage and like multi-time All-Star Gary Sheffield. And then there's one who really let his feelings be known on the current state of the game and used some pretty salty language that I can't repeat on this show because we're a family-friendly show. And the guy I'm talking about is former Giant star Will the Thrill Clark, who was on a podcast and totally ripping players who hit 230, 240, strike out 150, 160 times, and they think they're doing good because, I have 60 RBIs. Now, the new breed of fan will go, well, in today's game, on base percentage is more important than batting average. Well, guess what? If you get more hits, your on base percentage goes up. Even I can do that math. Well, some hits are meaningless, and sometimes it's just better for a batter to get out. It's like, no, that's dumb. Do me a favor and keep your stupid comments in your pocket. Man, the reason I hate that comment is when you're at the plate, you don't know what's going to happen in that moment at that bat when you put your bat on the ball. It's like, just go up there and make contact. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, you may get an out. You also may hit a liner to left center field and drive in a run or move up a runner. You always try to make contact. I don't know where this mentality came from of saying it's sometimes better to strike out. Oh, man. Anyway, along with this de-emphasis of just making contact with the ball, Clark pointed out something that I have been saying for quite a while, that there are people who are running MLB, or running individual teams. And of course, this new breed of fan we have in MLB who hate the history of the game, who have zero respect for the great players who came before and who just want to do away with baseball's past. And Will Clark said in his podcast, he gives a really good example here. He said that when he was on the Giants, he'd walk into their clubhouse. First thing he saw, big photos of San Francisco Giants players who are in the Hall of Fame. So we're talking Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Juan Marichal, the Dominican Dandy, Orlando Cepeda, the Baby Bull. I mean, flippin' legends. But apparently, the new regime who took over the team a couple years ago, well, they took down those picks and replaced them, according to Will Clark, they replaced them with some kind of decorative graffiti. And I ask this, just why? Those guys I just mentioned help put the San Francisco Giants on the map. Fans and players can look at them as a source of pride, kind of like, say, Phoenix Suns fans. Like I go back to a couple months ago when I was at the Footprint Center. Wasn't there for a game. I was there for the Lindsey Sterling concert. But still, you look up in the rafters and you see all the retired numbers of the Suns. You know, Connie Hawkins and Charles Barkley and Dan Marley and so on. And for Suns fans, you look up there and that gives you a sense of pride. It's like, look at the great players we've had come through our team over these past few decades. Same thing with the San Francisco Giants and the pictures of those Hall of Famers in the clubhouse. You look at them as a source of pride. Players walking into that clubhouse should be able to look at photos of Mays and Marichal and know their accomplishments and say, I want to aspire to be as good as they were. I want to do my part to contribute to the history of the San Francisco Giants, just like those guys did. But no. Only focus on the present because today's players are the bestest ever that have ever played the game. The talent level they have has surpassed that of Mays and Marichal and McCovey, and guys like that have nothing to offer today's game. Okay, look, I get that you want to grow the fan base. You have to grow your fan base because, you want to sustain the game over the long haul. But it shouldn't come at the expense of alienating longtime fans who've spent a ton of money on your sport and driving them away. The basic format of baseball is fine the way it is. You don't have to make all these massive changes that do nothing but degrade the sport. Sometimes I just think, just Major League Baseball just needs to be burned to the ground, burned to ashes, and then just rebuild it. Let it rise from those ashes like a phoenix and just go back to the way it was and just have a better product. And also stop the emphasis on war, stupid theoretical formula. Anyway, folks, 928-541-1016, number to call here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. Big day coming up here on KYCA and on our new sports station, The Team, 1450 AM KNOT. Coming up, I believe it's going to be at 9, 10 o'clock. That is when we're going to start the pregame show for the Big 12 Championship. ASU football taking on Iowa State. That's going to be over on The Team here on KYCA, along with our usual slate of Saturday morning talk shows. Tri-City Sports Roundup now, Dr. Hancock at 9, Drive Time AZ at 10, Eye on Prescott at 11. At 1 o'clock, it is the Prescott Christmas Parade. And then at 6 o'clock, we're going to be broadcasting the courthouse lighting. But today on this show, we're going to be talking basketball. In the studio with me, I have some representatives from the Embry-Riddle women's basketball team. I've got Morgan Evanson. I've got Michaela Hidalgo. I've got Coach Michael Trujillo. So we're going to talk about their young season, what's coming up for them, and, of course, find out all kinds of interesting factoids and information about the players on the team as well as usual. We'll be back right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here in the studio with me today from the Embry-Riddle women's basketball team. I guess I can still call them the defending CalPAC champions, even though they no longer play in the CalPAC. But they were last year's CalPAC champions. So there you go. Anyway, I've got Coach Michael Trujillo. I've got two of his players. I've got Michaela Hidalgo actually making a return appearance to the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We had her on here a couple of years ago. And newcomer to the team, we have Morgan Evanson. Ladies, Coach, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Coach, let me start with you. You look at Riddle's record. You're now 3-5 on the season. But you've taken on some pretty tough competition here in the early going with a couple games in Montana, a couple games in Hawaii, which I'm sure was a pretty fun trip. But and I think you've been in this boat the last few years, but this is what you want to do. You want to throw your players into the fire, so to speak, early on just to get them ready for conference play.
Right. We feel like we have a pretty good team. We have several years, and we're trying to elevate it and become one of those top 25 teams. Well, in order to become one of those, you have to know what it takes to play them and to beat them. And so that's what we've done. 4 of our losses, one's against a Division II opponent, supposedly higher level, whatever. But three of our other losses are against top 25 ranked teams. So, and we've been competing in all of those games. We lost at Carroll by 6 and LC State by 16, Providence by 14, I think. So we're competing there with those good teams. And so when we do hopefully eventually get back to the national tournament, when we're at that level, we'll know what it takes to be able to compete against those guys.
Yeah, and I know that Prescott football coach Cody Collette would appreciate this reference, but I guess it goes back to the old Ric Flair saying, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. Or in this situation,
right,
in order to be the woman, you got to beat the woman.
That's exactly it, and that's why we schedule this tough schedule like that. Yep.
Yeah. And so, Michaela, like I said, 2 of those games took place in Hawaii. You played Chaminade University, the Silver Swords. What a cool name there. Well, first of all, just, aside from the game, just what was your experience, being able to travel to Hawaii?
Oh my gosh, just like from the very beginning, we started out just like walking onto the plane. They were just playing like the Hawaiian music and everything. So it really set the tone. And we got there. It was gorgeous. I mean, super humid, like even in the airport and all that. But Hannah, she's from there, so she had her friend come greet us and give us all leis and everything like that. And so it really set the tone early on. But it was really fun, just like the whole trip and just being able to experience it with the girls, because we've been talking about it like since our freshman year, because Coach does a senior trip for all of us. Like my sophomore year, we went to Colorado, then we went to the East Coast last year to Virginia, and just all around us. We were like, okay, it's Hannah's time. Like, let's get to Hawaii. So it was a lot of fun. We like had so much fun at the beach, and like Coach was really like wanting us to really experience, while it's still a business trip, but still kind of enjoy. Obviously, like we're there for, to enjoy it as well. Yeah. So it was really fun.
And of course, Morgan, when you got to Hawaii, you actually split your games with Chaminade. The first one you won 65-63. That was a tight one. Next one you lost 70-56. So what do you feel were some of the things that Riddle got out of those 2 games with the Silver Swords?
I feel like it was a good environment for us to be in. Being at a D2 school, it was very important that we come out, play the game that we can, play as hard as we can, play to our strengths. So it was really great to see that down the stretch, that first game, we were competing with them. We weren't backing down. We weren't giving them opportunities to run away with the game. The second game, I think we were able to do the same thing. It just fell away from us in the end. But other than that, we learned a lot from those 2 games. And I know we took it back to when we played in Montana, regardless of the outcome, and to this last game we played Stanton.
Yeah. And speaking of Stanton, Coach, along with those tough teams you had on the schedule, and I don't want to be disrespectful to these 2 teams. I mean, they're out there, they're trying hard, they're playing hard. But you got Noble University, who you played in your season opener. Thursday you played Stanton, and Stanton only had 6 players available to him that night. And I don't want to begrudge them and say they're like weaker competition, because I'm sure schools like that, Riddle was probably in the same boat when they first started, where they want to go out and they need to play competition and good competition in order to get better. And I guess for you guys, that's kind of what you did with Noble and Stanton. It's like, okay, we got you guys on the schedule, and hopefully you'll learn something playing us. And again, I think both schools actually were pretty competitive against you guys.
Yeah, they were. Noble presented different opportunity or different situations because they had bigger players. But Stanton, I got to give them credit. They didn't stop competing.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the score, those girls were still playing really hard. So that's a tough situation that those players are in. But I really do give them a lot of credit to still be fighting through all of these games. So.
I think that the ones that impressed me the most are a couple of their players went out with injuries. I think Zhang Wei was one where she actually, I think, maybe rolled her ankle or something, and then Higashijima, I think was her name. She actually had to be helped off the court and could only couldn't even put any weight on her left ankle, and still both of those girls came back to play. I couldn't believe the one girl, number 5. I'm like, she's back in the game. How the heck did that happen? She couldn't even walk on that one leg.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I give them credit that that's some mental toughness, physical toughness that they're fighting through, and I just give them all the credit.
Yeah. And Mikhail, again, another really tough team, and Coach briefly mentioned it, but Lewis Clark State College. I have to say Lewis Clark. They don't want to say Lewis and Clark.
Made the same mistake.
Different school.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but you play a team like Lewis Clark, and just talk about what are some of the things that you get out of a situation like that, where I think at the time Lewis Clark was ranked in the top 25 in the preseason poll, if I'm not mistaken.
So they were ranked I think number 20, 24, 23, something like that, but they've jumped up. I think they're number 11 in the country now. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
So talk about what you get out of playing a team like that.
Yeah. So for our team, we're very competitive in practice. So we were like itching at the time. It was still at the beginning of our season. We were itching to play someone else, and just like quit beating up on each other. So just being able to play like a team at a high level like that is really fun to actually get to like play that. And also I think it helped us like get a better grasp of where we were at against like a top team like that. Like how do we like compare, and like what can we do to get better? So like at least we had that at the beginning of the season. So when we do get towards like conference and the end of that and like to the tournament, we're just like, okay, we've been here before. Here's what we did the first time. We're gonna do better at this next time. So like just things like we can work on like our defenses and stuff, and I think that really set the tone of like how we build up the rest of the season. So it was really good to start out with them. So.
Okay. And then Morgan, well, you're one of the noobs here for Embry-Riddle. This is your freshman season. And again, just what's it like for you? You come into a situation where Embry-Riddle is stacked with all kinds of experience, all kinds of talent. So what's it like for you to come in there and try to work hard in order to get as much playing time as you can in these games?
I feel it was a very great opportunity to even be in this atmosphere before I got here. My sister goes to the school, so it was very cool to see before I was even recruited what the team played like together and everything. And now being part of the team without having a lot of people leaving, I think it's really cool to just play the game I can. You know, I'm coming in, I feel not bulletproof, but I feel like I can bring 100% of myself to the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Coach, that's the other thing too, because I've noticed in a lot of games, like, you're obviously putting a lot of the experienced players out there, the all-conference types in there, but you do find some really good opportunities to put people like Morgan on the floor, or another one, Abby Dean, too. And I'm sure that's got to be one of the tougher things for you as a coach, trying to do the juggling act and the balancing act to make sure that these girls get a good amount of playing time and put girls out there in the right combination that are going to get you wins.
Right. Well, that's the fortunate situation that we have is we do have a lot of talent, and regardless of Morgan and Abby that you mentioned, Riley being freshmen and being new to the program, they're still really talented players, so no, they can definitely everybody can help us win, and that's a blessing and a curse that we have, is that we have so much talent, but at the same time there's just not enough minutes in a game to get everybody the minutes that they want. So it's tough, but it's a good problem to have. So we're trying the best we can. I can still be better at mixing, changing the lineup and getting people more minutes in there. And I got to be better at it, But like I said, that's a really good thing that we have is we can put any five out there, any combination of five, and still have success. There's no drop off. I fully, wholeheartedly believe that we have the deepest team in the league. I said that last year. I say that again this year, even going into a new conference. We have a lot of talent in this program. It's nice. And to Michaela's point earlier, that's what makes practice so competitive, is that there's a lot of talent out there, and every day in practice.
All right. All right. Well, hey, folks, on the show with me today, I have from the Embry-Riddle women's basketball team, Coach Michael Trujillo, two of his players, Morgan Evanson and Michaela Hidalgo. So we'll be talking to them on the other side of the break. But before we go to break, as always, it's time to see who shined over the past 7 days as we present the Tri-City Sports Roundup 3 Stars of the Week. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Ellie Bennett of the Yavapai College basketball team. She put up 20 points in the Lady Riders' 72-67 loss to Central Arizona Wednesday. The number 2 star is Bella Apt of the Prescott basketball team. She posted 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 steals in the Lady Badgers' 64-22 rout of Deer Valley Thursday. And our number 1 star of the week is Zakira King of the Embry-Riddle basketball team. She notched 20 points and reached the 1,000-point mark for her career in the Lady Eagles' 90-49 triumph over Stanton University Thursday. Now for the guys, our number 3 star is Preston Raniker of the Bradshaw Mountain basketball team. He notched 25 points in the Bears' 85-61 loss to Payson on Saturday. No, actually, they won that game. Pardon me on that one. In their 85-61 victory over Payson last Saturday. The number 2 star is Nadir Myers of the Yavapai College basketball team. He registered 29 points in the Rough Riders' 76-66 loss to Central Arizona Wednesday. And our number 1 star of the week is Uriah Tannett of the Prescott basketball team. He posted 31 points in the Badgers' 68-50 win over St. Mary's Tuesday. Congratulations to all our 3 stars of the week. Break time here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We will be back right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here. Thank you very much for joining us on this Saturday morning. Going to be a busy Saturday morning for a couple of our stations. Of course, at 1 o'clock, we're going to be broadcasting the downtown Prescott Christmas Parade right here on KYCA. In fact, Prescott Broadcasting has a float in that parade. So you'll get to see Lisa Dandos from the Lisa Live Show, along with her sidekick, Matt Hinshaw. And actually, I'll be in that float, too. This will be the first parade I've ever been in where I haven't had to wear a band uniform and play a clarinet like I did back in high school. As for those who may not know, I was not an athlete in high school, much as I love sports. I had no athletic ability, but I was a darn good musician, and I was part of my high school's marching band. And also at 6 o'clock tonight, we are going to be doing the courthouse lighting as well. And, of course, coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, it's going to be the Big 12 Championship, ASU and Iowa State. That game will be on our other station, the team, 1450 AM KNOT. So a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of stuff going on here in the studio with us. We've got from the Embry-Riddle women's basketball team, players Morgan Evanson and Michaela Hidalgo, and Coach Michael Trujillo. And, well, I don't think I briefed our guests on lightning round here, so it's going to come as a surprise. I think you remember this from a couple of years ago, don't you, Michaela? Okay.
It's
So
fun.
you're prepared, Morgan isn't, and I'll just make things really fun. In fact, I'm going to start with Morgan here and really put her on the spot. Okay, Morgan, this is where we find out some interesting facts about your teammates. Now, who on Embry-Riddle would you say is the best dressed player? Who's the team fashion plate?
Oh, I'd say, as far as athleisure, I'd say Zakira.
Zakira King, okay.
Yep. I really like her sweatshirts and like her cool sweatpants. I'm like, where did you get this? I feel like I'm always asking her, but I feel like as far as clothes you would wear just every day, I would say Ella Schott.
Oh, okay.
I also ask her all the time, what are you wearing? Where'd you get that?
So basically got to like do up your wardrobe too.
Yeah.
Now.
I mean, they're giving me ideas left and right. So
She's a big thrifter, so she
Yeah.
finds like little old nuggets and stuff.
Okay, now Michaela, who would you say is probably the funniest player on the team? Who's the team comedian?
Oh my gosh. It's still Zakira. Like there's not a day where I'm not just dying laughing because of her. And she brings so much energy to practice and everything. So I can't get enough of her. She makes me smile and laugh every single day without a fail.
Okay, now Morgan, who would you say is probably the most serious player on Embry-Riddle?
Oh, I'd say either Kate or a newcomer coming in with me, Abby. They're both very determined, and I really enjoy playing with them. They're always thinking about the game, always thinking about players, so it's very nice to play with them.
All right. Now, Michaela, who would you say on Embry-Riddle is the most talkative player on the team? The player who, if I did an interview with them, I'd be there forever because they just wouldn't shut up.
Oh my gosh. I feel like half our team is that way.
Right.
It would have to be between Megan, Hannah, and I'd throw Z in there too.
Oh.
I mean, they're just a chatterbox, all of them. I mean, you can't get them to stop talking.
I think this is the first three-way tie we've had on Lightning Round. Jeez.
I tell you what, if you had those three on this show, you'd have to have that edit button pretty quick because it is not a family conversation.
Oh, seriously.
So you brought in the right players for a family-friendly atmosphere.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Morgan, let's go to the opposite side here. Who would you say is the quietest person on Embry-Riddle?
I don't think you can like tell our team that we're quiet. I mean, you can't really say that's a quality that we have. We all enjoy each other. We always are up and talking, so I don't think I could pinpoint a player.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if maybe I should rephrase that and say who talks less than Zakira or Megan. I don't know. Okay. Well, now, Michaela, who would you say on Embry-Riddle can eat the most in one sitting?
Oh God! Again, we eat so much. Let me see.
We put away some food.
We do.
We
really do.
We really do.
I'm trying to think. Maybe.
Oh boy, this is a tough one.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know. That's an interesting
Sydney,
question.
maybe?
Oh,
Sid.
Sydney, yeah, she can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She loves
she's
her
a
some
picky
food.
eater though.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really depends on the day. But yeah, we could throw Sydney in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, anyway, Coach, going back to what I had on my 3 stars of the week, Zakira King, number 1, 1,000 points. I didn't even know she was that close to 1,000 Thursday
didn't
night when I
either.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's Z. She's a true team player. That you ask her, and she legitimately says, "I don't really care about that. I just want to win." And so we actually, sorry, I didn't cut you off here, but we at halftime, Z had 11 points, and she needed 19 going into the game. And so Coach and I were like, should we tell her? They're like, yeah, we should probably get her a heads up. And so halftime's there, and they're warming up, and we're like, Z, you only need 8 points for 1,000. She's like, no way, I didn't even know I was that close. So. But she didn't want to do it. We're like, no, let's get the 1,000. And she's like, no, Coach, I don't want to do it because I'm going to choke every shot and brick everything. But she didn't want the attention or anything like that. But I'm like, no, it's happening tonight. So let's get it done. Pretty cool.
I think going back to what you said about Zakira being a team player, because I got a chance to interview her after the game, and kind of funny when I edited up her soundbite of give me your thoughts on scoring 1,000 points. It was only a 3 second. You probably heard it. It was only a 3-second soundbite. It's just like, hey, it's my team, and they pass me the ball and I shoot. So I mean that's kind of like Zakira in a nutshell.
It really is. She really genuinely just cares about the team. She cares about these ladies, all of her teammates, and she really just wants to win. She doesn't want any of that individual attention. Anytime after the game, when we tell her, well, John wants to talk to you, she's like, no, I hate talking about myself like that. She's so it's pretty cool to see. I'm happy for her though.
Oh yeah. And Michaela, going back to last year, final year in the CalPAC conference, and it's kind of funny. It's almost like it was just building up to that point. I mean, Ember Riddle for a few times has gotten so close to that CalPAC championship, couldn't get it. There was just that. Sorry to bring up this piece of history, Coach. There was that really devastating overtime loss to Antelope Valley in the championship game a few years ago. Last year, finally brought the championship home in your final season of the CalPAC. Michaela, how much did that mean to you and all the other upperclassmen experienced players there on Riddle?
Oh God, it meant everything. It was literally like a movie, like all the way down to like our freshman year. It was like COVID, and so like when I started as a freshman, half the team, that was their first time playing too. So that first year we had a lot of close games and ended up like losing them like overtime or by like 1 point. It was like devastating. And then we kind of like progressed, and then we finally get to this we had a couple like 5th-year seniors like Susie and Ari, and so it was like their times, like it was like now or never. And then we also had like, I think we had 6 girls, 5 seniors last year, and so we didn't gain anyone from the year before, so we just had developed this really strong chemistry. And so when we were there, and it was towards the end of the season, and we were playing Antelope at Antelope, that was just an intense game. Like we lost that game, but it didn't feel like we lost. We feel like we were like. Anyways, it was. I won't get into that, but I think it just like set like a fire under us. Like there's like we're going to win this thing, and then when we saw them, like our biggest rival in the championship game, like that was like you couldn't ask for anything better than that. And then we ended up just like demolishing them, and then just having like the most fun. I thought that. I just remember like the end of the game, like everyone was all like I was on the bench, but like we were like holding each other's hands, getting ready to like it was like the last second counting down, and then we ended up all just it went off. We won the game, and then just dogpiled on everything, and it was just like there was so much energy. It made like all like missing school, like being stressed out because of like all the work you have. It made everything all worth it. It was the best experience.
And of course, well, Morgan, you weren't on that team last year, but your sister Nicole was. Actually, Nicole was supposed to be with us. Unfortunately, couldn't make it today. So thanks to Michaela here for coming in and being a pinch hitter here. But Morgan, again, your sister was on the team last year. I'm sure you probably watched the game. Your sister probably talked about it. So what were your thoughts, knowing that you were going to be on that team the next year?
I remember Nicole calling home and just letting us know. She was just over the moon excited. She couldn't drop the smile off her face. I could hear it over the phone. We weren't on FaceTime. It was just a regular call, but she elated. I know she sent over all the pictures and everything. So it was a really great thing to be able to experience for them, kind of like from a third person perspective. I was like fangirling, especially because I knew I was going to be playing with basically the same team this year. So it was really great to see what they could do on the highest level of competition, especially against Antelope Valley, which was the competition that they were wanting to redeem themselves for.
Yeah. Again, almost like writes itself like it was a Disney movie or something.
Right.
I mean, back when Disney actually used to make good movies, unlike now.
True.
Yeah. But I won't. What?
No. I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, man, I can't wait for the live action remakes of Snow White and Lilo and Stitch and all that. Goes to show how little creativity they have left. Anyway, enough of that. But Morgan, going to again, this is your freshman season for Embry-Riddle. But along with basketball, here on your bio, boy oh boy, is there a hobby here that you don't have? I mean, you like hiking, you like drawing, you like painting. So tell us about some of your paintings that you've done.
I have a couple up in my room. I went to a painting class and I did like a rainbow lion. And then I also, I feel like this is my first little like portrait of a person or an animal painting, but I feel my favorite is landscape. I have many more that I still have to hang up in my room, my dorm room, but it's one of my favorite things to do, and I just have a creative burst and I just need to do something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that about you. You're a painter.
Yeah, cool.
Wow.
Like, who knows? Hey, maybe one of these. I don't know if you do book covers or anything like that. I may hit you up one day and go like, hey, can you draw me a book cover that has like a Tyrannosaurus eating people or something?
Yeah, give me a reference picture. I also do digital. I have an app on my iPad that I just also draw. So it's something that if I have something to go off of or any ideas, I can do it.
Very cool.
There might be a collab in the future here.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
And Michaela, I mean, for yourself, I mean, obviously basketball is your big sport, but when you were up at your high school, Greeley Central High School in Colorado, it's like what sport didn't you do there? Along with basketball, I think you were part of the tennis team. You were part of the softball team, part of the volleyball team. Just talk about what it was like for you being such a multi-sport athlete.
Oh yeah, I love to keep myself busy, but also all my friends were like on those teams too, and so it just made like a really fun experience. And I don't know, I feel like if I'm not doing something, I'm like wasting my time. So I always have to keep myself busy. But I love sports. I love staying active and all that.
And by the way, I also forgot to mention here as I was perusing your bio, also on the track and field team as well. So basically, I mean, you're a 5-sport athlete in high school. Whoever has heard of that?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy because of COVID. We didn't get to play volleyball in the fall, so I got the chance to play softball, and that was pretty cool. I mean. Yeah.
Okay, so outside of basketball, which of the other 4 sports was probably your favorite to do at Greeley High School?
Oh God, absolutely volleyball. I love that, and I was the outside hitter, and then I would also be like the defensive specialist too. So I don't know. It was just like a lot of fun. I love to jump. I love I don't know. I like during basketball games. I like to do my like little hop, just kind of get my legs warmed up and everything. But it just like also just I love to be bouncy and I don't know.
Yep.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Really enjoyed volleyball.
The bouncer.
No.
The bouncer. I did. We got a nickname.
There you go.
Oh, shoot.
That
Oh,
works.
It took all the way to your senior year, but I finally got inspired. See, I need the inspiration for
There
these
you go.
nicknames. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well,
That's a good
anyway,
one.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Michaela. And you're like, what did I do now? I think Aubrey Labno feels the same way when I call her the steamroller.
Oh gosh, yeah,
yeah.
Aubrey.
Well, anyway, folks, we are unfortunately coming to the end of our show here. But you know what? If you want to get out and you want to see these ladies play, December 17th is going to be a great opportunity to do it. Coach, you're going to be taking on Grace College from Indiana on the 17th.
Yeah, they're good. They're tough. They came out here 4 or 5 years ago, I think, and played us, and that was a competitive game, and they've gotten better since then. But no, they're a good team. That'll be a tough one. But these ladies will be ready for it. Again, it's another one of those higher level competition games that we have to play in order to be better. So that'll be a fun game on Tuesday, the 17th at 5 o'clock. Hope everybody can make it out.
All right. Well, Morgan Evanson, Michaela Hidalgo, Coach Michael Trujillo, Embry Riddle Women's Basketball. I want to thank you very much for joining us here on Tri-City Sports Roundup. And, of course, best of luck the rest of the way. And, as always, like we do with all our local teams, we'll be keeping track of their games right here on the News 1490 AM. You miss any sports reports that we have on them or any of our teams, you can go to our website, kyca.info, click on the news link, and check it out. Michaela, Morgan, Coach, thank you very much again for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
All right. Again, coming up on the team, 14:50 a.m. at 10 o'clock, ASU versus Iowa State in the Big 12 Championship. 1 o'clock here on KYCA, Prescott Christmas Parade, 6 o'clock, Courthouse Lighting. Folks, thank you for joining us. See you again.